Megan Hicks of I Run Far. I'm with Germain Grangier. It's a couple days before the 2023 UTMB. Hi, Germain. This is my first time interviewing you.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me on this interview.
Yeah. I've seen you race for a long time. I've known you for a long time, but this is I Run Far's first interview with you. I'd love to learn a little bit about you. We were talking off camera. You came to running from first alpine skiing and then road biking.
Yeah, exactly. I grew up in a French ski resort. So skiing was the first sport I did. Then my family moved to the south of France, close to Nice. So that's when I started mountain biking, then road biking.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when did trail running and then ultra trail become part of the sports menu?
Yeah, actually, after a few years of road biking, I got injured. So at the time, I was doing in parallel my studies and sport. So I decided to push more on the study side.
Yeah.
And moved to Grenoble to end my geology engineering diploma. So I had less time, and at that time I found out about trail running.
Okay. You and I share that in common, that we both study geology.
Okay, I didn't know. Cool.
It's fun to be a geologist or to have that as your background as a trail runner.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, you see the rocks, you see your surroundings when you are running. You are more aware about where you are, why the mountain looks like that. But yeah, I had to choose, and running is way more fun.
Yeah. So UTMB is sort of a fixture in your life now. You have 2 finishes and 3 starts of this race. This will be your 4th start. What makes you keep coming back to this race?
I think at first it was really the main reason why I started ultra running, I would say. And I don't know, I like the atmosphere on the race. I like the race route, which is really logical. It's like a nice circling route. And there was a good competition here. Yeah, I just like the place, the competition, the atmosphere, and it's really testing myself. I feel like it's the best place to test myself.
Yeah. You have had 2 finishes inside the top 10 of this race, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And your top finish was a 5th place, which is like, I think a lot of people would say that is like a career high if you're able to place 5th at UTMB. So when a person comes back to a race after taking 5th like that, you must know that you can do more.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the tricky point, I would say. you know you were at that place, so you want to take more risk, but you still need to run smart. So it's like, I think it's a point that it's pretty hard to, I don't know how to say, but to like move further, because you had, it's like when you're at 99% and this last person takes a while to get, it's like, okay, I got 5th, but it's not like in a few months or in a year that I can make it higher. So it's those last percentage that takes time, dedication, and you need to be consistent. And I will see if everything's plays well.
Yeah. You have been in Chamonix for, you said, I think a month and a half. You must be taking this race very seriously.
Yeah, that's actually the first time I did that, because every time I would start UTMB, so the first time was more like, okay, I want to finish the race, start really slow, then the second year take more risk, and but I never took the time to really like optimize the recce, the nutrition around the race, like what the small details that can make you get those little like minutes or stuff like that. Yeah.
So you're really taking care, or trying to take care for the details this time.
yeah, I'm trying to care more about the little things, and also I'm trying to do like the minimal training to get to get the best adaptation from that.
Yeah.
It's hard also because you always want to do more, but it's like at school when you have an exam and you write 10 pages and maybe 2 is enough.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, I'm trying to find the limit and to train, recover well from what I'm training from, and get the best of myself.
Now, this course is really interesting in that there are parts that are technical, parts that are more runnable. I mean, kilometers and kilometers of like very runnable terrain, some steeper climbs and descents, some more rolling.
Mm-hmm.
What parts of the course like feature well for you, and what will be more challenging for your own strengths and weaknesses?
I would say I'm not super good at anything.
Are you a jack of all trades?
Yeah, I would say I like smoothing all the parts.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe I'm not a big fan of the start, just because I don't like that much the atmosphere on the start. It's super.
It's the craziest start, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like most of it is in the city, like through villages, and I think like takes time to really get into the race you signed for. I would say, like when you hit Notre Dame de la
Yeah.
Gorge, you're like, okay,
Then it's
now,
finally a trail race, isn't
yeah,
it?
then it's like, okay, that's the race
Uh-huh.
I want to do, and it's now. So, and it's easy to overrun the first parts because you feel good. It's the most easy place of the race. So yeah, I would try to be smart. with
It's
that.
interesting because I think Notre Dame de la Gorge is like 35 kilometers into the race. Like, that's 20% of UTMB.
Yeah. It's crazy because
Yeah.
when you look at your watch, you're like, okay, but you feel it. It's long to really start,
Yeah.
and it's like kind of like a relief. I don't know, when you hit that place, you're like, okay, now it's the race.
I feel that UTMB is interesting in that you start with the night and then you race the next day. In many 100-milers, you start with the day and finish with the night. To me, it seems like an extra challenge. What do you think about sort of that flip-flopping of night and day?
Yeah, I feel like it's really particular to UTMB, this like evening start, and I personally like this kind of start because I prefer to hit the night quickly than
Okay.
to wait for the night. But yeah, it's interesting. I think that's why there is a lot of different reaction to this race, because not a lot of people are used to run at night and like to run at night. And yeah, around like breakfast time, it's always a like turning point of the race,
Yeah.
I would say. So yeah, it's something that definitely needs to be taken seriously.
Yeah. Do you have I mean, you've been here for 6 weeks. You've seen all the course now. Do you have a part that you're like really looking forward to doing?
Yeah, I would say my favorite part is between Courmayeur and La Foulie. I really
Okay.
like this balcony. Well, unfortunately, during race day, it's dark, but even I like this part because there's no big climbs, no big downhills. You can
Okay.
kind of run. You
Yeah.
feel you're actually moving.
Yeah. And you're quite high there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's interesting. And then the last part is it's really different. Yeah. From everything else before.
One thing I like to ask runners is, there's always a joke about where the UTMB race starts. Does it start on the starting line? Does it start in Lake Condamine? Does it start in Courmayeur? Where does the UTMB race start?
I don't know. I would say start from the start for sure, and then you decide where you really want to do your move and to do your little push. Even if you think your little push will be around Champé. It's not going to be a push, but
Yeah.
you're just maintaining the speed more or less.
It's a psychological push.
Yeah, exactly.
You're trying mentally too.
Exactly. But that's important. But yeah, I think it's really like different scenarios. Yeah, this year the field is, I think, like there's few names really on top of the list, but the field is really dense and compact at like a similar level, which will make the race really interesting.
Yeah. For me, I see like 25 men who could potentially be like top 7 in this race.
Yeah, even more like
Yeah, you think?
yeah, even more like it's hard to name people. And it's hard to also know the people's strategies that would be interesting in real time.
Yeah. Well, best of luck to you in completing your third loop and fourth start of UTMB. Good luck.
Thanks a lot.